Hello, welcome. My name is Steph. If you'd like to come on in and have a seat for some symbolic support or a little surreal story today, we're going to drop some ink in the Book of Blots in the name of our muse that you guys have submitted as Inkfluencers. So thank you so much. You can visit icecry.ca if you're interested. We'll drop some ink. We'll scry for shapes and symbols that may speak to our psyche and psychic senses. We'll add on tarot and oracle and where Mr. Ghosty here is. We have GhostTube for any audio editions from the afterlife that may further add to our abstract and ancient auric adventures. Overall, pleased to receive or release freely. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome home. And thank you for your time, attention, and awareness, as your presence and perspective is powerful. All right, let's go. Let's choose our muse. We've got so many. It's amazing. Are you excited? Our muses are our portals to create in, our kickoff point to perceive and receive messages. All right. Collective blind spots. Can you see that? There we go. Oh, collective blind spots. All right. Thank you to whomever submitted said musings. All right. Let me grab the book. If I didn't say so already, you can visit icecry.ca, hit up Influencer, maybe scroll down. And as well, I'm moving the shop over to icecry.ca from Buy Me a Coffee. So from Buy Me a Coffee to icecry.ca. So bear with me as I'm doing that. But I love you. Okay. Let's go. Collective blind spots. Just a reminder, we're here to create a portal to perceive in, less worrying about making a masterpiece. Though we usually do, right? Why not? I'm feeling very contrast, so I think I'm sticking to blacks, whites, and sepias. Yes, there is collective blind spots. Do they serve a purpose? Okay. How are you guys doing? Did I say, please feel well to comment below what you see, sense, or feel? Because your insights expand the iScry experience well beyond my perspective. And it's like we get to share being readers and reflectors and all the great things. So thank you. I can't remember. Yes. Yeah, they are. We're good together. Yeah, we need some sepia in there. Lots of us, like building materials. I feel like this is a lot of ink. All right. Crease of Creation, if you're opening up with me. Collective blind spots. Let's go. Taking a nice deep breath. Closing the eyes, cleansing the palette of perception, releasing the race and the rush. Activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. In the name and honor of anyone here at any time, thank you for being our muse. And may we all meet a message with meaning. All right. You do take a screenshot so you can scry in your own time and your own dime. Personal use only.
Other side.
I feel very weird today. And yes, if you're a part of the Secretar Society, we will flip it and you'll enjoy an extended. All right, let's go. Well, there's eyes there. Okay, so I'm also seeing faces. There's my little squinchy thing here, like a big chin, small nose, something about features. And if I may, like, see how right in here there is, like, this is sepia, so that's really interesting that it's kind of around the face. And I wonder if, or however you might resonate with it, is always more important than what I'm seeing. But it's almost like this muddied aura area, and it's in the face. We could call it eco, maybe it's our perception, like front on, Not really sure. Anyway, sorry, it's not necessarily. You need to get back in here. There it is. There's black and white right in there, like in the cheek space and here. And this is all very like sepia in here. There's a little teddygram up here. It's so adorable. A little teddygram. Did you ever have those graham crackers as a kid? Something also in the throat space, quite specifically. Members. There is a bison that has its head down. I don't know if they charge like goats and rams or whatever the case is, but it's up against a crane. It's a spirit crane. It looks like a construction crane. So it's like moving things, picking things up. This teddygram in the sky, he's in like an orb of something. This bison, yeah, it feels bison-y, has small wings. The small wings can carry the big bison. I don't know if there's something about like wingspan or what wings might mean to you or I.
Dress.
And how they like, oh, those are some big wings you got. Do those indicate anything, given that those small wings are carrying a bison? If I may apply in some sort of density, shape, or form, I'm going to contemplate right here with you. So maybe, if I may, in the spirit of our muse, as a blind spot is considering some sort of mathematical logic, that wing size to wingspan or something along that lines. Oh, they can't carry this big bison. And maybe even an air of competition amongst the collective in general. Now, I'm hearing, I don't know, necessarily to say verbatim what any sort of value is, but healthy competition.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe sure. Maybe that's a reason to say healthy competition is a reason to have competition. But is it like a gateway to unhealthy competition, or meeting our boundaries of where we start to, or somebody might start to turn in a less healthy version of competition? So maybe there's something about that. I can only say what I see and feel. Okay, so I'm down here, and this is a lever, but it's like one of those old Frankenstein from the movie lever. And I've pulled it all the way down. There are old efforts trying to come back to the surface, to be heard, seen, felt. And while that might feel
sailor,
important, it's how they're brought back to the surface and the real reasoning why. The real reason why. Okay, so the way I just saw that was like how they make movies. And then, or at least for the 46-ish years that I think I've been kicking around here in this meat suit, there's like time spans where you can see they just make a whole lot of remakes. Nothing really new comes out, no new ideas. It's all, or for the majority, of course, there's, it's rude to say that. Anyway, that's what it feels like. I feel like I'm seeing the same movies remade. So they're coming back to the surface. Now, that's not inherently a place for me to make a judgment of good, bad, or ugly. As in my case, I might have a comparison, but somebody else may not. And it might inspire that story to seek out older futuristics, maybe birth a futuristic one that we don't see yet. So, it seems like this whole network that I feel like I'm literally in blind spots and trying to navigate. Here's the thing is, I'm being very honest, and I feel like it's obvious. I'm trying to navigate without being too judgmental. But I need to discern to make decisions along the way. Something about that big chin keeps coming up as well. Okay. That big chin. It's kind of reminding me of Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. And then what's the other one? Mrs. Pergadine's School of something or other? Or, yeah, I don't know. Something or other. That's how I'm going to say that.
Do you want to play?
We're good, but it's creepy when you say it like that. It's so like Saw movie and just okay. There's a person in here that's melting, and I feel like I am melting the like my lightness or my own. Okay, give me one moment. So I could even say like the Wicked Witch of the West. Is that right? Like I'm melting, I'm melting. No, it's maybe yeah. Doesn't matter. I feel pretty chill here. I feel like I'm melting into that. Oh, it's a mold, and it's like the sepia brown ancient threshold, like the mud, and it really brings me into the lotus analogy.
$13.
So there's something unstable. It feels mucky. It's bringing me into like what we have here is the Grand River. And when we were kids, like you did everything to enjoy swimming in the Grand River, but you didn't want to touch the bottom. Like, so gross. So gross. Like, and you would come up with maybe leeches and like just that squishy feeling. And you don't know how stuck you're going to get into, beyond the muddy water of like this river of reflection. So here's the thing. It's like this river of reflections, which is really what I'm going to kind of write down. But it's kind of muddy. But it's muddy because there's activity stirring within, from the bottom of the muck to the top of the surface. So it stirs things up. And you don't want to get stuck somewhere too long. And maybe that's where some of the structures feel that unstable. Like, am I sinking? I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Let me keep going and see if I can clear that up. Do I need the shaman deck maybe? I might need help with El Shaman deck. Excuse me. There you are. I see you. Thank you. All right.
Karma.
You're just pivoting right in the moment. So it's like this reoccurring, like those movies coming up and up and up again. And there's a talking over here. And it's like this, I don't know if they're helping. This feels a little interesting. I want to lean in. It's like, who me? Like I can see like, who me? Like, oh, like there's this conversation and there's something very, okay, thank you. There's someone or something somewhere that's going to approach for it with an offer or a conversation or just simply approach you and you're not expecting it. It's like, who me? And they're like, yeah, you. Oh my goodness. And maybe it's somebody from the afterlife. I got to go in the way I originally felt it though, the rabbit hole, though as uncomfortable as it was. It feels a little abrasive. And the way I'm seeing it very closely is this person's hand, I'm actually seeing them like a Teletubby over here, has their hand on the other person's hand. It's like this other person was going to reach and they grabbed them and were like, excuse me or squeeze me. And maybe, if I may, wandering into that feeling, I feel very like I can't streamline my words. Like the script has been here before many times, but this script is slightly different because maybe we're in the blind spot. So it's a little discombobulating, and having room for that and a safe place to be a little discombobulated when there are people, places, or things, aspects of ourselves, channels that are moving in and out of these blind spots. And to feel safe enough to continue to do that, right? To move outside of this just reoccurring, storytelling of sorts. Yeah. So I feel like in these blind spots, they're also blind to some boundaries. And maybe you feel that in your own channels, personal, professional, corporate, creative, romantic, platonic, the yada yada is like the boundaries being the blind spots, and blind spots being some sort of boundaries, right? Like it's like having an invisible fence, and we're all just supposed to know. Hunter of Past is coming up in the Cave of Ice, and this is bringing me into that whole sensation of like it's going beyond the reoccurring script. I feel like that's come up somewhere recently, or at least conceptually. I see you in there. It's a very, very, very large white bird. I kind of want to say it's like
Mirror.
well, that's lovely. It is talking. It's definitely in spirit form. I don't know that it's ever been a physical bird, at least relative that I would know. The closest I'm going to say is like phoenixy, but there's something else about it. Oh, thank you. Put Thunderbird and Phoenix together. Now that feels, when I said that, because I was trying to, and it's like I'm plugged right into it, and it's helping build a nest of this energy down here in density. So in the animated realm, this Thunderbird is so nurturing with this Phoenix vibe. It's like helping build the nest for those that wander outside of maybe the regular script. There's a Pez dispenser in here, and I'm hearing, how do I say that?
Go away.
Yeah, how do I say that? When push comes to shove, and I'm kind of back in this angular insight here because it's on this angle, but I also want to know that's the push come to shove thing. I think it's the nicest way I can say that. In the Hunter of Past and the Cave of Ice, like there's this going up. It's like if this person was a climber,
You are funny.
and I can see a sloth in there as well. So slow and steady, or maybe just like sloths, or that sloth symbol means something to you. I'm very coffee today. This feels like brickwork. The brickwork. Dancer of Beginnings coming in the Cave of Winds. Definitely mindscaping. And it's kind of like, I'm free. But also this hands up in, what is that? Is it surrender or I give up? What is that? Like when they, put your hands up.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? That's taking me somewhere for a second because there's two modes to it, whereas like the celebration of being on one's path and checking your blind spots every so often, like driving a car. I feel like you're really good at checking your blind spots. And you can move where the blind spots are just by shifting a little bit, checking the angles again of like side view mirrors, rear view mirrors. A mirror Because I'm kind of ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. I can't stop this feeling. And then the other side flips me into, I give up. So I don't know if there's some sort of beginning that's going to happen of what has collectively been in a massive blind spot. And I say massive just because it's en masse blind spot. There's been talks, there's been, little kind of snippets. This massive blind spot, because it's en masse, is coming into the light. That's not comfortable. And I feel like it may. Sorry, did you say my name? Oh, okay. And it could ignite again that competition of judgments of like right or wrongness, which perpetuates a story being rewritten over and over, like the movie. And then let's say for somebody pops out and says, okay, this is coming into light, or this is, being revealed out of the blind spot. Somebody or someone somewhere among the collective is going to hold space for grace of that and allow a grieving process to happen instead of competing to say, like, what's the thing? I was right. You can be right. Whatever context this is, and do so with grace to help the grieving process of the other side. Because there's a lot of heart and soul that went in there. There's a lot of love and possibly hate. There was things that were done that were on behalf of. It's like being in love and having a blind spot for the red flags. And it's something about these angles. Cave of Hearthfires. Hunter of Abundance. So yeah, there's going to be a lot coming up, which is beautiful. A lot coming up to. I want to come back to the Thunderbird and the Phoenix. I feel like these are two massive energies that are building spiritual safety to contend also with a lot of energies coming through. I'm seeing two people on a teeter-totter. Oh my goodness, there's a frog with like their legs out. So cute. Like, look at my legs, look at my legs. And the Wall's bringing me into Pink Floyd, The Wall. So even in that era, if you listen to that kind of music or you know of it, hi Anthony, or Anthony from Spirit Realm, like they went through, again, it kind of feels reoccurring. Like in their music was saying something. So, I feel so weird with my words. I'm not going to apologize, but I did. They had a message, and it might have seemed harsh, like rock and roll. That's why the music was rock and roll compared to what their parents were or grandparents, where it had come from. Even though the thunderous sound of said music of rock and roll was always there in the thunder, in the lightning, in the drumming from the tribes that knew how to harness that. And it was time for that expression of it to come through. Again, they're non-competing. It's like you can have an indigenous drum circle with guitar players rocking out and then flute players, like this whole orchestra. Those sounds, the feelings do not compete. They complement to generate. And what things generate, whatever spell or words or intentions are infused in said whatever this is, it can easily sweep one away towards closer in power. But is it, rage inducing, and what's the focus, because then we might become blind because we're filled with something. And then there's also time we are filled with something, and then we can persevere and move through change together. Careful, careful, careful. People say in the communities that, music is spells and words and this, that, or the recipes for food.
Listen.
Notice not only what music's or movies and all this, whatever it's coming through this way, but what are the lyrics? Because there could be some lyrical tomfoolery. And check, does it melt well together? And it can be a little disappointing, right? When we find out certain things. Got to move through that grief, and hopefully somebody can hold space with grace. The ancestor of memory is coming through in the Cave of Rivers. And this is just how it feels. Like a reoccurring rewrite.
Young.
Yeah, when we're young, it's like remembering. Look at I'm going up. There's prophecies that have been in place and they culminate here. I feel like this is a prophetic. This is where like actually a blind spot feels really, really positive. Okay, so first of all, remember when I was talking about that crane, and this is like the picker-upper. Beak. And this is new land with a little bird. Kind of feels like a landfill, but something about filling land. And I can go and I can pull it up. But right in here, there's something in a fold. In a fold. And this is where like prophecies kind of culminate or gather. It feels, okay, so I'm in the show Willow. There's something about adventure.
No.
There's something about desert landscapes and like meeting a mirage or something. But it's in a fold. Like, when you fold a book even more, either to like to get closer to the seam, like, I don't know, but the edges are curled. That's the point. The edges are curled. And it might also be time in this, if this is in relation to some sort of feeling like one's own story, a good old worn book, and maybe you're working towards moving towards something else. Shaman, if song is coming through as we're getting ready to close out. Oh, we were talking about music, so that's really lovely. That's really lovely. Shaman of birth is on the bottom. And also noticing our own, we might sometimes be blind to our own scent. You know what I mean? That's funny. What you emanate, what you bring,
Amazing.
what you bring. It's so amazing. What you bring by being. I got to note, though, there's something when it was funny, it's like Febreze. When they say you get nose blind to the smells in your house, cats, dogs, shoes, this, that, or the other. And then so basically there's no Febreze here.
Abused.
Or the benefit of Febreze has been abused. The lack of awareness or the lack of boundaries or and reflectively, the abundance of boundaries and brick walls and whatnot has created such a contrast in how these are blind spots are existing. At least how I'm feeling. They're so contrastual because they're competing, or maybe that's just the air. Okay. I'm going to head on over to the flip side. If you're going to join us, join the second tier of the Secreteur Society, but there's no pressure. I'm just telling you, just an opportunity. If you'd like to flip it and join us. If not, I hope this did serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. And thank you so much to the influencer that has inspired us to take a look at the collective blind spots and inspire our own adventures. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I am seeing a heart, a knapsack with a heart on it. It's a love-filled adventure, and I'm coming out of mud. I'm coming out of that mud now from when I was in the Grand River and the mud. But I'm coming out and being washed off. It's like being in a game of Survivor. And I don't know, when they do things, they have to do all those things covered in mud, and then they get to wash off in the very river. Okay, I'll see you on the other side. So much love.